I think we're live. Yep, timer's going.
Well, kick us off, big man. Let's just.
You want me to? Well, here we are.
Absolutely.
Kyle, owner Iron Rack. Him and his wife Megan. Megan's not here; she's out of town.
Yep.
Oh, happy Mother's Day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Happy Mother's Day for sure.
We've been talking about doing this for a little bit now, so we'll do it Sunday morning, Mother's Day. My wife Erica, she's in the background. She's our lone fan today.
The lone fan, and she's gonna, crack the whip every once in a while. Make sure that we stay on topic and keep things rolling and don't get off too far into the weeds.
Right. So
Erica, that's an important job because I do that very easily. This thing will turn into an hour if we let it.
well, she knows I'm good at that too. We get sidetracked, but when we talked about we're going to shoot a podcast, Erica and I have a little clothing brand that we started, Rebel and Lass, and I got a shirt on today. Erica's got one on. We've given Kyle a couple shirts. Just trying to
absolutely
slowly but surely grassroots get our name out there.
Yeah, and again, as Eric pointed out, my name's Kyle, owner of the Iron Rack. My wife Megan and I started this venture. It's been a long time in the making, but we actually opened a brick and mortar physical location January 4th of 2023. So we have been in business now here in McKinney near the historic district for going on a year and a half. And I think that's part of the plan, is to get a little bit more into how we each got into this and why we do what we do, right, Eric? So I don't want to go too far off in right now, buddy.
No, but like fitness is our lifestyle, and we happen to do it mostly through weightlifting and typical bodybuilding cardio.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle does more cardio than I do.
I have to, man.
Any of you, whatever, dude.
It's only 19 weeks out of the year, dude. The rest of the year, the weeks out of the year, you will very rarely catch me on a piece of cardio equipment. It takes too much time, too much work.
I'm the smart aleck that says just lift weights faster. I get my heart rate up. It's fine.
Absolutely.
I mean, I totally get it. As I get a little older, I'm like, okay, I need to start doing more cardio, but I just hate it.
I do too, my friend. There's nothing more boring to me than staring at the freaking screen on whatever machine that I'm using and just watching that clock count down.
Go.
Yeah.
But well, going back about 2 years ago, we moved on the other side of McKinney. Mm-hmm. We lived on the other side, and we sold a house, and we moved to this side of town. And we'd come up here, and I'm not knocking anybody, but just, there's a sign on the door, call this number. Nobody called back. Nobody texted back. And I'm like, well, it's 2021 or whatever, like 2020, whatever year it was. I'm like, if I ain't getting a reply, I'm probably not going to do business with them.
Absolutely.
Even though it's so close to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked in here, and I'm like, yeah, that's my kind of place for the most part. Like 3 months later, I get a call. Well, at that point, we're at 24-hour because I need something. And I mean, in our old house, we had a gym. Our two-car garage, you couldn't put a car in. It was all gym.
Yeah.
We had a power rack. We had a leg press. We had a lat machine, an Olympic bench. I mean,
have y'all always been like that, or was it COVID and everything shutting down that then y'all decided to make
I kind of always
gym?
had that. I always tinkered with, I want to have a gym. And in previous life, I had another business that I started from the ground up and grew it. So I just kind of toyed with, I'll do this in the garage, and if the neighbors want to come work out, great. And if they don't, great.
Very cool.
And well, when I met Erica, I've been divorced. We were both divorced. Dating pool was kind of weird, and we just happened to cross paths through friends.
Yeah.
And, she was like, well, I can tell you work out. And I'm like, yeah, what do you do? She's like, she was doing hot yoga at the time. Mm-hmm. And my thing was, in finding a partner, I'm like, they got to be into fitness of some sort.
Yeah.
And so she told me that, and great. So it just kind of evolved. One day she's like, I think I want to start working out with you. And I was like, okay. And in my head, I'm going, this is going to last a couple days.
Yeah.
But here we are 10 years later. She works out with me every day.
That's awesome, dude.
I mean, at her own pace, and,
No, don't, dude. She's in here. She's with you. Obviously, she's not lifting the loads that you are, but you guys are in here together tearing it up, man. It's the same for Megan and I. When she's here, we train together. She's my training partner.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's not pushing the weights that I am, but she's still keeping pace, and she's doing
Exactly.
the same routine, the same rep ranges, and like I've seen you guys do. I mean, she's a true training partner. Megan is, like Erica is to you.
Yes.
She'll tell me, dude, nuh-uh, you've got 2 more. Keep going. Don't stop just because
And you know
the
what's
rep range said 15 or whatever that is.
what's ironic with that for me is I spent, in high school you work out with your buddies.
Yeah.
Playing ball, you're pushing each other on, the 3 or 4 basic lifts that you did then.
Yeah.
You always wanted a big bench, meathead mentality, football player mentality, a big squat, a deadlift, and some sort of pull-ups or pull, And that's what we did back then. Real simple, just trying to get strong and fast.
Yeah.
And then when that ended, I never stopped lifting weights, but I used to be the guy. I'd go in the gym, hat on, headphones in. I didn't talk to anybody.
Absolutely. Same
I'd be-
way.
I'd-
Same here.
You get the nod.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon, the end of a workout. Hey, how are you? You meet a couple guys.
Yeah.
But everybody kind of, I'm like, just,
Yeah, you're like, I'm in here to do the work. I'm not in here to chit chat and socialize and try to make friends. I don't want to sound mean, but dude, when I step
It's-
into the gym, it's like going to work. It's time to work. I'm here for a purpose. I'm gonna get it done, and then I'm getting the hell out of here.
yes.
So
Like, for us, it's often, you give us, we poke at each other back and forth. And
Well,
you're like,
shit, we're friends
you're like-
now, dude.
You're like, you only been here 45 minutes. I'm like, we got it all done, man. It's boom, 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 boom. We got to go. Like, there's, kids and life and work outside of here. I mean, your work is built in here. You're here all the time,
Yeah.
training other people. But yeah, when you're not training other people and you're training, you want to be in your,
in the zone.
yeah.
Agreed.
So I've just been that way my whole life. I mean, I started working out when I was 13 and never quit.
That's what I was actually gonna ask you that, dude. Like me, I think like a lot of people, when I was in high school, I played football all the way up until my freshman year, and then I switched to just baseball because that was the sport that I excelled at. But once I got out of high school, dude, I quit training for probably like 3 years because I guess, I don't know, probably the wrong crowd that I was hanging out with and doing stupid shit like that. And then periodically throughout my 20s, leading up to my 30s, even when I met Megan, it was kind of the same thing. We'd go through these spurts where nothing major like I do now, don't take it as serious, but would go to the gym 3 or 4 days a week, 4 max if we were lucky, and we'd mess around, do a little bit of cardio, a little bit of weights, really no structure, no, hey, we're here for a purpose. And it was just, let's just go fiddle fart around to be healthy. And we would do that for a couple months or leading up to like a vacation or something we were going to take. And then we would have several months where we would, fall off and not even walk through the doors of a gym. So that was my question. Were you the guy that's been continuous since high school and since you started, or did you have those periods in your life also where it was hit or miss and you kind of fell off?
I had one period. Kids were small. We built a house out in the country. It seemed like a great idea at the time. And then we both had over an hour commute. Didn't have any gym equipment at the house. Was a long ways from a gym. It took me about 3 months to be like, whew.
I got to get back in.
I got to get doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the only time, literally the only time I've taken more than a week off.
And those would be the issues that like Megan and I would like look at each other as best friends, because that's what we are, and be like, oh crap, dude, what do we? This isn't us, man. We're getting too big. It's time to dial it down and start working out and lose the weight that we need to. So,
Right.
Unfortunately, we've had in our lives, dude, we had more of those incidents than none, to where that created that, I guess, seesaw pattern that most people fall into.
But as in the last how long, you haven't been that way.
10 years. So
Yeah.
we were, one of the last times that we had those moments where we had fallen off for a little bit was probably about 3 months prior to my son being conceived and us getting married, to where we woke up and we were like, crap, dude, we eat like shit. we drink too much.
We feel like crap. Yeah.
This is not what life is about, and we can be better. And I think I was about 29, and Megan would have been 23 because she's 6 years younger than me. So, we had one of those realizations, and it started to become more steady at that point. Then for me, it was back in 2015. I worked construction. I worked for a company that built wind turbines, and that required me to be all over the
Traveling
country.
a lot, yeah.
And initially, before I started getting promoted and moving up the corporate ladder, where I kind of was my own boss and oversaw multiple sites, I would be at a job site for 6 weeks at a time, and I'd get to come home for a week. So when I initially took that position and was 9 hours away from home, honestly, dude, I had 1 or 2 bad nights with the boys where after work we went out and had drinks, and I was, again, realization, dude, this isn't you. You're gonna lose your wife and your family, the best things that have ever happened to you, if you don't get your shit together. And so that was when I picked up bodybuilding as a hobby and started learning as much as I could on my own and taking it seriously. Again, that was in 2015, and I have hit the gym 5 to 6 days a week, every week for the most part, 50 weeks out of the year. We take a couple weeks when we go on vacation where we
Sure.
don't hit it as hard, but
Right.
consistently have not fallen off since then. So
That's like in my adult life, like when Erica and I met, I was born and raised on a family dairy farm. Like the word vacation was like a dream.
yeah,
And then I started my own business. I started a landscaping company and grew it and grew it and grew it with a really good partner, still my best friend to this day. But my mindset was how I grew up. Mm-hmm. He always took July 4th off. He's Peoria Indian, and he would go to Oklahoma to powwow. And I was like, that's cool, dude. I'll stay here and work. And, I went on vacation and one time, and I'm like, 4 days in, I'm like, I got to go.
yeah,
I got work to do. Like, I just was programmed that way.
yeah,
So, you move down the road and then meet Erica, and she's like, well, if we're going to do this, we're going to go on a vacation. And I could tell she was pretty serious about it. And I was like, kind of like, what's that? I don't do that.
yeah,
So our first vacation, she books an all-inclusive deal down in Mexico. And it was really cool. But it was like, I don't know, 6 or 7 days. So, and I read like articles. I don't read books.
yeah.
Day 4, I come down to the pool with a book. She looks at me. She doesn't say anything for a minute, and I'm reading my book, and she's like, so, you're about done, aren't you? I said, yeah, but aren't we stuck here for 2 or 3 more days? She's like, yeah. And I was when I'm like, well, there's a bar there and a pool there, and I'll make do.
Yeah.
And there's a gym. That's when I told her when she booked the trip, I said, listen, I said, we're going somewhere for a week. There's got to be a gym involved. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it's a gym in the town that like I've never been to Mexico or whatever, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I just have to, I got to be able to do that a couple of times, at least. Well, there was a gym there, so I worked out like every day.
Yeah.
The crazy dudes that would do the workouts in the morning, they come on, big guy, come on, big guy. Oh man, they worked me out. We did this crazy thing with a sand-filled volleyball, throwing it up and catching it and squatting. We did like 300 of them, 300 sit-ups, and the next day I could hardly walk up the stairs. I'm like, those little bastards got me. The meathead guy, and they're giggling. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't give in yesterday.
Yeah. That's the dude. I always tell Megan when we go, I'm like, all right, no gym, I promise. I won't work out for the
Liar.
4 days that we're here. Yeah. And that lasts about a day because we'll get there and have a couple meals where we eat like crap because it's vacation and we're not on like any schedule. But then the next morning, I'm like, I'll be laying in bed at about 6 a.m. and she's like, you want to go to the hotel fitness center, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, all right, cool, come on, let's go. So it never works out. It always does.
But then you feel better after.
Yeah, absolutely.
You at least you burned off some of those calories from the stuff that you're eating, and you're on vacation. When we're on vacation, it's food.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's us too.
But yeah, like we're going to my hometown. There's a little gym there. Mm-hmm. But like, I'll know somebody. We'll work out one day there. Then we're going to Louisville for a couple days. We'll work out at least one day there.
Yeah.
Like, just to keep me sane and not grumpy.
Yeah.
It's just, and she's the same way anymore, aren't you, crazy lady?
I'm gonna make a note on my phone because I want to circle back around to this. this question that just came to mind, but it's also going to lead me into the question that I want our viewers to know. So you started a landscape company. Fitness has always been a part of your life. You got out of the landscape company. What do you do now, Eric? For those that don't know you.
I'm a truck driver now. I've held a CDL since I was like 18 years old.
Okay.
And have done various things in trucking. I drive for a company that the mother company of Scooters Coffee, so I exclusively deliver to Scooters Coffee stores.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got into that. I knew that you worked kind of somewhere here locally, and that your routes were. I know that you got to go out of state every once in a while. It's not too, or maybe once a week or something like that. It's not too frequent. You're always able to get your butt back home.
Yeah, I have what for me is the perfect driving job for the most part. I like being at home. I like my wife. I like my family. I like to sleep in my own bed. I'm not one of these over-the-road guys that's gone for 2 or 3 weeks and home for a night.
Yeah.
Like that's not my. I got friends that do that, and if I did that, I could probably make a little more money.
Yeah.
But I'm also
But
fortunate.
is it worth it though?
No. Well, at
You know
this
what I
point
mean?
in life, it's not all about
Right.
that.
Exactly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We still have bills and stuff, but we're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a team. Erica makes good money. She's a speech pathologist. So yeah, I'm gone a couple nights a week. I'm home on the weekends. Home the other 3 nights during the week. So the days you don't see me here are the 2 nights that I'm in a hotel.
Right.
And I drive a day cab. I don't even have to sleep in the truck. They put me up in a decent hotel.
Yeah.
There is a hotel gym there if I get the urge on those. But I've been pretty good. I used to be a 7-day-a-week guy.
Yeah.
Like Christmas is done. I'd go out in the garage and work out.
Yeah.
And, they're, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, what else? We're just sitting around. There's nothing to do.
No, I agree. That's why I'm laughing. Yeah, Christmas is a big holiday for us too. But I mean, dude, if it's a training day, a scheduled training day, we're training for
You're
something.
gonna get that hour in.
We're up here. Dude. We're getting it in, dude.
Thanksgiving. well, we ate too much. Let's go burn some of it off.
See, ours is let's get the workout done in the morning
Well-
before Thanksgiving, so then that way we don't feel guilty.
That's
for
what
as
we did
much
this
as we're gonna
past
gorge.
Thanksgiving. We came here early. We got the workout in.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. But yeah.
Having said that, and now that you are not a 7-day-a-week guy, I'm sure that you have a pretty set schedule for your job, for your routes and stuff
Yes,
like that.
I'm fortunate that I do.
Do you plan your programming, like as far as the days that you're going to come into the gym, around those days that you know you're going to be here? And for the most part, when you're traveling, do you go ahead and just take those days off because you only have access to like a hotel fitness center?
I have been taking those days off, and I have noticed now that I think that's helping me in
Yeah.
the long run. It is giving my joints a break, giving the tendons and ligaments and everything a little bit of a break. And my job is, I don't just drive the truck. I'm delivering 5,000 to 12,000 pounds of goods into stores every day too.
So you're still
it's
moving.
still a physical job.
Freaking A.
I do a fair amount of driving, but I do a lot of in and out,
Yeah.
and so, which I prefer. A lot of guys just want to sit and drive the truck and back it to the dock and wait for them to unload. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I like to move.
Yeah.
So what I do now is perfect, and I've done a few things. I hauled propane for several years. Had some wonderful events doing that. Almost got killed doing that.
Like explosion type things.
It was January 1st. I'm horrible with the year, but anyhow, I went into work that morning and I was in just a bobtail, 3,000 gallon propane truck going to fill a bunch of cylinders on my route. And I got hit by a guy coming down the on-ramp going about 100 mile an hour and got me turned sideways and
wow,
overturned.
dude.
When I come to a
Holy smokes, man.
stop, everything was on fire.
Yeah.
And there's 3,000 gallons of propane in this truck. So, and we were engaged at the time. She's out of town. Guys from work are calling me. They're like, have you talked to Erica? I'm like, no, she's in Vernon. She's 3 or 4 hours away. I'm like, no. I said, I'm kind of tied up here. And they're like, well, the news reports are saying the truck driver's dead. I'm like, well, I'm the truck driver. Yeah, it was crazy. But I did that, and I still hauled propane for another 3 or 4 years after that. Like, that was a Friday morning. The next Monday, I went to work. They're like, hey, we got a bigger truck for you. Go to the same place you were going Friday.
We were talking, dude, before we hit the start button on the video, and we were kind of talking about food. You were talking about somebody that you watch on social media who's geared around food. What's your when you're on the road for those days that you're gone? Do you take your own food, or do you try to like find the healthiest choices as possible, or like do you just not care? And I'm asking. And is it like a burgers and fries kind of guy while you're out there in the truck?
One of those days I'll usually have a burger.
Yeah.
But no, we food prep, and I've got a cooler. I walk into
Nice,
work in the
buddy.
morning. I got my duffel pack with my clothes for the day and a half.
Yeah.
I got a big cooler. You know, these guys are walking into work with their backpack because they're eating the truck stop crap.
Yeah.
I try to avoid that. I mean, once in a while you're like, okay, that taquito won't kill me.
Yeah.
I just have one,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But no, my dinners, when I get to the hotel, I got dinner in my bag,
Yeah.
like 98% of the time.
So, with your job, which you're a busy freaking guy, you're still able to get into the gym 5 or 4 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
You take your rest days, which you said now you feel now that you feel the difference, which you should do. We're getting older, man. I mean, I'm going to be 42 in a couple weeks, and you are.
I'll be 54 at the end of June.
So, dude, it's important that we take those rest breaks for the reasons that you said, man. Ligaments,
Yeah.
tendons, muscles, joints, give them all time to rest up. And you find no excuses to still get the work done. I have a friend that's a truck driver. You may or may not have met him. He's a younger guy. His name's Jared. He comes up here every so often from East Texas, and he's a driver just like you, man. And same thing, no excuses. Preps his food, still works out, finds the time to do it. So, do you come across other drivers that maybe you're friends with that, or just in general, dude, do you think that people just make too many excuses to not
Absolutely.
be able to get it done?
It's just not just truck drivers, but just people in general. It's too easy to say it's too hard or I
Yeah.
don't have time. And my comeback to all of that is it's only as hard as you make it, and you got to make the time for the important things.
And I agree, and that's why I'm asking. I mean, dude, you're a freaking truck driver. You're in the cab of your truck
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
And you still find the time and make it a priority to get
When
done.
I snack, because that one thing when on those long drives, if you're talking to somebody on your headset,
Yeah.
because legally that's how you have to do it, and everything is safety driven. That helps to keep you awake.
Yeah.
Like you drive and drive and drive, and man, it's easy to. And sometimes I just stop and run around the truck a couple times and
Yeah.
get back in if I'm tired.
Yeah.
But snacking also helps with that because it's just. But so when I'm snacking, I try to snack on healthy stuff.
Like what?
Usually nuts.
Yeah.
But then it's like you don't want to eat too many nuts. So
Yeah.
you take a bag with me, and this has got to last because that's all I got.
And I don't see you like being the kind of guy that's chawing down on a piece of celery while you're
No, Erica might do that,
While
but
you're-
I'm not doing
while
that.
you're driving, dude.
No. I mean, I'm a meat and potatoes guy. Well, and that's another reason that I train as hard as I do, as much as I do. Is I like food.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, dude. I get it.
Well, and I've literally had people tell me you can't out train a bad diet. I'm like, well, my diet ain't very good sometimes, but I stay ahead of it.
Yeah, but I would say that for you, and I'm just ballparking this just because I know you and I know your mentality, I would say that 80% of your diet is actually probably pretty good.
It's protein and good carbs.
Yeah.
It's meat and potatoes.
So there's
and meat
nothing
and
wrong
rice.
with that, dude.
It's,
And
yeah.
that's a lot of people have the mentality that think that, I don't know, steak is bad, potatoes are bad, carbs are bad, and those are just really, it's all false.
What's funny. I don't want to get too far off into this, but I had an incident where I ended up in the hospital for a couple nights. They did some tests. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I got a minor heart thing where I got a cardiologist now. But I told him what I eat, and he looks at me. He's like, as long as you train the way you are, he's like, there's plenty of proof. He's like, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need to eat what, a less active person. You can get away with that, he basically said. He's like, everything.
Yeah.
He's like, all your tests are coming back great, so he's like, I'm not worried about it.
I wish that there were more doctors, and one of one of my personal training clients that I have right now, he's an older dude. He's in his 60s, man. Great guy. And he's been with me now for over a year. Like the day that I officially took over the gym was the day that he walked in here. And it
No
just
kidding.
was kind of just, I meant to be, I guess.
Sure.
But I asked him, how'd you get into this, man? Or, why are you training now? And his reasons are because he's got grandkids. He wants to be around for them. Okay. And he was like, dude, I was 280 pounds and he's down to about 240 now, but he was 280 pounds. He said, my doctor told me that I needed to get physical, I needed to be active, and I needed to go find a personal trainer to keep me in line. And I wish that there were more doctors out there that instead of giving Ozempic or like a mental health hospital, instead of giving somebody a pill for depression or anxiety,
Exercise.
that they would say, you know what,
Move your
let's
body.
start with this.
Yes.
Let's start with this, and then we'll reevaluate.
And it's
And there's
funny
not
you bring
enough
that
of
up.
that, dude.
I feel that way. I do have a couple friends at work. They were Wallace was over 400 pounds.
Uh-huh.
He's a great guy. He started on Ozempic and got it started.
Yeah.
But he's also had a couple major back surgeries. He was on opioids.
Yeah.
And he woke up one day and he told me, he's like, I gotta quit that shit. And he weaned himself down over the course of like 2 weeks and then just quit. He's like, it was a rough few days after he quit, but he's like, then I'm fine. So, and his doctor told him and his wife something along the lines, hey, you got to do something. So he did give him the Ozempic, but they only did it for a little while. And they both quit. They've changed their eating habits. He texted me yesterday about going to the gym. They're making lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish, that's kind of what my whole thing is. People need to take care of themselves now, or they're going to pay later one way or another.
I agree. Absolutely, man.
So my thing is find the discipline and do it. I'm not against motivation, but motivation to me is like a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, you got to program yourself that you're going to do it and on a regular basis. And I tell people, listen, you don't have to be like me. If you don't want to lift weights, don't lift weights. I tell everybody, Google walk 2 miles a day.
Yeah.
It's one of the healthiest things you can do. Like, period. It's so simple.
First, I want everybody to know that I'm not against medications at all. Don't read that in the wrong way. And I watched something here within the last couple of days that talked about getting steps in and the benefits of like starting off with 10,000 steps. And if you can get that in throughout the day at a minimum, how your body does start to turn into a fat burning machine, as long as you're not like pumping a bunch of junk in your, in your body. But if you're eating right and just those 10,000 steps daily, which I think probably comes out to a little over 2 miles. So what you're talking about,
Sure.
how beneficial it is. And then if you're able to bump it up to 13,000, then how much fat you really start to burn.
Right. 'Cause
I've never paid attention to the steps that I use or that I take. But after watching that, I was like, I'm gonna see how many steps I take. And so when I'm here in the gym, I wear my Apple Watch because I use it. The main reason I use it is for a timer when I'm with clients.
Yeah, it's small. It's right there.
But
boom,
I was
boom,
like,
boom.
you know what, dude? I've had my watch on all day, and it was a busy day. I was here from like 6 a.m. until 8:30 p.m. that night, just continuous.
How many steps you
client,
take?
client.
You're
and
moving
I think
around all the
that
time.
day I had taken like 14,000 steps, man. It was like almost 6 miles. I was like, holy crap, dude! That's
And this gym is not
Not
huge.
that big.
It's not
4,000
that
square
big.
feet,
To get
yeah.
that's a lot of laps.
a lot of laps around the gym.
Back and forth.
Absolutely right, man.
Yep.
So I agree with you, dude. Just start with discipline, not motivation. If you know you need to make a change, start small. Just say, dude, I'm going to come up here for 30 minutes and walk on the treadmill or piddle around or whatever it is, But sorry, go ahead.
No. I was hoping we'd get on this kind of a rant to some degree because I'm going to rant a little bit, and he might cut some of this when he posts some stuff. I'm going to post the whole raw thing. But we back to people making excuses to not move, to not. Mm-hmm. People ask me, how do you do it and how do I lose weight? I'm like, I said, other than moving your body, it's calories in, calories out.
Absolutely.
Now, yeah, we're all pretty much the same, but we're all a little bit different. But 1,000 calories is about a pound. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that the...
I'm not going to say yay or nay on that.
Anyhow,
Trust
but here's the
trust
deal.
you.
But here's the deal. if you are eating 3,000 calories a day and you're not active and you keep gaining weight,
Yeah.
if we cut that in half, what's probably going to happen? You're probably going to lose weight. And I've heard, oh, my thyroid and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? You're lying and you're cheating. You're not counting your calories. You're stealing something out of the cookie jar and you aren't adding that in your calories. Because I tell those people that give me the thyroid story or whatever, I'm like, well, I guarantee you cut down to 500 calories a day, you'll lose weight.
3,500 calories
Is a pound.
more than you burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd have to eat 3,500 more in a day to, yeah. So,
To do a pound a day in gaining a
absolutely.
pound.
Yes.
But like I said, even somebody that's only moderately active, then they'll tell me, I got this weight problem. I'm like, well, you're eating too much.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And I tell people too, listen, this is not the healthy way to do it. You shouldn't do this, but if you want to eat nothing but Snickers bars, if there's 300 calories in a Snickers bar, and you say I can only have 1,500 calories a day, line 5 of them up, and that's all you get.
Yeah.
It's going to be horrible for your insides over the
Yeah.
course of a very long time, but you'll lose weight
Yeah.
if you go into a deficit.
You're right.
And well, I've done that and I didn't lose any weight. Well, then you're grabbing a Twix bar and not throwing that in the math.
Yeah.
you know, like
you're right. Dude.
and all you're doing is cheating yourself.
When someone comes in here and talks to me about wanting to lose weight, or I want to get a six pack, or I want to get shredded, whatever the goal is, whether it's just being healthy or lose weight, get shredded, whatever, that's the first question I ask them is, well, how much are you eating? You know, and then I put the numbers into my formula in my software, and I say, this is what you should be eating calorie wise. How much are you eating? You know, and I eat way less than that. Okay, and it's, God, I'm gonna make some people mad, but if you're that person that goes and talks to somebody, your doctor or whatever, and you lie to them straight up on your nutrition, you're not doing yourself any good, because that's typically what happens. Like,
Yep.
and so, like, really, well, how many calories do you think you eat? I'd say I probably eat 2,000 a day, and I'm just throwing that out there. Like, okay, cool. Well, how do you know that? What do you mean? How do you know you're eating 2,000 calories?
Did you measure
a day?
your noodles? Did you measure your rice?
Are you tracking your
or
food?
aren't you?
Are you measuring things out? Are you weighing your protein? No, then how do you know? I just do. Oh, okay, cool. So you really don't know. Tell you what, let's play a game. Let's keep this simple. What'd you have for breakfast this morning? I'm like, dude, really? You can't remember what you had for breakfast this morning?
2 hours
Eggs
ago.
and eggs white, you know, toast. It's really that simple, dude. Unless you went and had freaking pancakes and, you know, sausages and hot links at IHOP or Denny's or whatever, and then
And a whole
you're
bunch of syrup and-
trying to now think of something that sounds healthier than what you really did have.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I agree with you. It's a numbers game.
It totally is.
If you want to lose weight, it's a numbers game, and you have to track your calories so that way you know what you're putting in your body. Calories in, calories out.
And if you're on the other extreme of this, the other extreme being those of us that train hard, my best friend is not the scale.
Yeah,
It's the mirror.
yeah,
Because when I go to the doctor for my annual physical, and he gets the results back and my weight's on there, it says obese. And he just takes his marker and he's like, well, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
Because they're going by BMI.
BMI. Yeah.
And so it depends how they're measuring it. But again, the mirror will tell you. The mirror and Seth Feroci, when you sit down on the toilet, take your shirt off and look down. That'll tell you. That'll tell you exactly where you're at. You might not like it, but that'll tell you the whole story. I mean, and I'm not trying to be gross, but this is hard to do this with when you're on the toilet.
Everybody that watches this the next day or whenever they're on the toilet is going to be like, oh, I'm in good shape. Or, oh my God, I got to do something about this.
Well, when I heard that, I was like,
No, that's
huh? But
I've never. I mean, I agree with you. The scale is just a tool. It's not the overall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you need it too.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I'm at that.
I'd never
I'm
heard
at a
that
point.
tool before. I
Well,
like it.
I'm at a point too with the scale. You know, I went the other day for a checkup, and you know, with all my shoes and everything, 249 pounds, and I'm like, man, I probably don't need to weigh 249 pounds. Like, maybe I need to change my training and my diet a little,
Uh huh.
but I feel fine.
Well, how's your blood pressure and all that good shit?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Everything's
Don't worry
fine.
about it, man.
I mean, I'm on a med for that.
Yeah.
I have been for a long time, but nothing. I'm on the lowest dose of this med.
Yeah.
It's not like.
Well,
yeah,
you've
so-
also we were talking about weight loss, but then again, some people are training for muscle mass and to gain. And for a while, since you've walked into the gym and we've started to get to know each other, you started training for size, right? For a little bit. I mean, you were eating in a surplus a little bit, were you not? If I'm mistaken,
I always
then
eat
by
in,
all means.
I always eat in a surplus.
So cool, but that's all. So I mean, dude, if you're eating in a surplus and you're at 249 or 42 pounds, whatever it was, but you can still button your pants. Everything still fits the way that it should be. Then again, who cares? It's a tool, and we're training for different reasons. And so
No, well, and powerlifters are big dudes typically, especially like the heavyweight powerlifters. It's like a car and horsepower. You get to a certain point, and to gain 10 more horsepower, the displacement of load's got to be so much
Absolutely,
bigger.
yeah.
Once you reach that, it's the same thing with the powerlifter guys that are lifting the big weights. Everybody's like, oh, they're big fat dudes. I'm like, that's just their fuel.
yeah,
Now, I'm not advocating they stay that way for 30 years of their life, but if it's a 10-year deal and they're the gifted guy that's going to break the world record and get paid for doing it,
yeah,
go for it.
yeah. No, I agree.
But they get to that point of, like I watched the documentary of Eddie Hall, and the stuff that he ate. Like he used to, they were like,
I watched that one too.
they're like, Eddie, you got to quit
Breakfast
this.
sausages in the morning, like shit ton of stuff. Dude.
Well, his doctors
wow.
are like, you got to quit this, and he's like, no, I got to get this
Yeah.
done. But not healthy. So
It's every athlete trains and eats differently depending on what phase of their training they're in. From football players to baseball players to bodybuilders to powerlifters, whatever.
yep.
Everybody typically, it's an athlete, not a person, an individual that's just wanting to lose weight and get healthier in life, goes through phases where they'll eat in a surplus to gain the muscle that they need to improve performance. And then once they get there, they'll go through a different phase to where they either maintain that or cut back a little bit to get rid of the fat that they put on for that muscle gaining period. So if you're an athlete or an avid gym goer, it's a vicious cycle that I think that we all go through.
No, and we're guilty of like the whole body dysmorphia thing to some degree, all of us.
Uh-huh.
Look in the mirror. Ugh,
Yeah.
I need to get bigger here, or lose this there,
Or you were big and then you're going through a cutting phase like I am now. Now I'm looking at myself like, damn, you look small. You wuss.
and as you get older too, like you get a great pump in the gym, and you get home and I'm like, this used to last for 4 hours and it's gone already.
It's gone by 30 minutes.
Yeah,
man.
it just goes away. So
So, all right, cool. Let's Rebel and Lass. So you started out back in the day, started landscaping company, had fun with that, always have been healthy, got rid of your landscaping company,
moved to Texas.
moved to Texas. You've always had a CDL, but now you're a full-time driver. You like doing that. You enjoy it.
Yep.
Still working out, and now you have Rebel and Lass on the side. So school us on that. I mean, what happened, dude? How did you and Erica say, you know what, I'm going to start making some T-shirts with some really good slogans on them?
Well, she's crazy enough to be like, whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
if you want to do it. So, and every time, but then I started thinking, well, if we're going to do this, we need to form a company of some sort, at least have a name.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I came up with a name around fitness or weightlifting, you Google it and it's taken.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote down a bunch of words and got the thesaurus out and come up with Rebel and Lass. I'm like, that's perfect. I can be the Rebel. She can be the Lass. Nobody was using it.
Yeah.
There's a racehorse like in England that's name is Rebel Lass, but they didn't trademark it. So I immediately was like, I got to figure out how to trademark this.
Is it Rebel Lass or was it Rebel Ass?
Depends who you talk to.
Sorry, go ahead.
But anyhow, I trademarked the name. Well, and I'd been talking with some friends about it. They're like, that is great, because a lot of my friends are smartasses, Rebel and Lass, the things that you can rhyme with that. So we started out, and I was going to do fitness and inspirational, motivational kind of stuff, slogans on shirts. But then we also live like a normal life. Like I like beers on Friday night.
Yeah.
So we do some smart ass stuff too. Like we got a shirt that's I like beer and 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
I like to portray myself as a little antisocial, although I'm really not.
Yeah.
So we do stuff like that, but we've kind of come full circle on it, and we're really trying to get back to more of the gym related, fitness related slogans that it was really all about.
Yeah.
And we didn't. It's not to like make a huge profit on or anything like that. Which it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then you and I started talking, and I'm like, well, if we could do some stuff together, start out on a small scale, who knows where it could go.
Yeah.
And if we do stuff, you know, we start making money on this, I also want to be like a community involved kind of thing. Maybe we donate to the fire department.
Yeah.
Or, you know.
Dude, I'm sorry. I got to jump in now because you said something. I'll lose that thought. Have you ever, like, have you drawn some shirts up and just gone to, like, the local fire department and said, hey, dude, my name's Eric, blah, blah, blah. My wife and I do these shirts. I just want to drop these off with y'all. Enjoy them. Here's a business
We
card.
haven't done that.
Reach out.
I randomly will be chatting with people.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I'm going to see you here next time. And I hand shirts out to different folks along the way.
Yeah.
So, like you and I talked about, if you do a member appreciation thing, maybe we can put some stuff together.
Yeah, but now,
do that.
and you're absolutely right, and we will. But now I'm even thinking, dude, you know when our busy times of day are, why don't you just bring a handful of shirts in your freaking backpack and like just walk up to the gym members and say, hey, dude, you want a shirt? We make these. Here you go.
Right.
I mean,
No,
it's easier said than done because I do the same stupid shit all the time. I have yet to go to the freaking fire department and try to sell on the gym, and the fire department's right here in the historic district, a mile away.
Right.
So I'm really good at pointing out ideas that others should be doing, but not following through on my own.
Well, you know what? I do the same. We've talked back and forth about some things, but I think us doing this, and if we make this some sort of regular deal, or if we do this a couple times a month or whatever,
Yeah.
we'll go do the stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to.
I agree.
Because
people hold us
The people
accountable now.
they're gonna be like, well, you morons do that, or you just bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
You know, that's.
Rebel and Last. And I've got a couple of Eric shirts, and they're very good quality, man. Good shirts. Meg stole one of mine that he initially gave me, but I've managed to get 2 more from him since then.
Well, and that
I've been
was
wearing them regularly.
That was a learning curve too when we first started. Well, we go buy some shirts.
Yeah.
Well, we bought 100% cotton shirts, and they're a little rougher.
Yeah.
And then we figured, okay, I don't want to wear those. After they're washed a couple times and dried, they're kind of crunchy.
Yeah, what's the one you got on right now? Because that's a good quality.
This is a blend, and we buy the Gildan usually, or there's a couple brands that have good quality shirts that people like. They feel good, they're soft. No, this is the one. I just made this one yesterday. And I did a post like, it's nothing original necessarily, but it's as classic as it gets, you know.
And since the doofus didn't turn around and show y'all.
And the WYAO that's my motto. It's our motto. Work your ass off. That's just how I was born and raised.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't half-ass anything.
Absolutely
You're
not.
gonna do it.
It's like when you go to the gym and leave your weights on the machine or laying around, not putting them back where you got them. That's half-assing it. Eric and I were having this conversation because he sent me a reel from Instagram that I loved. The gym owner came in and was walking through, and he hit it on the head. If you're not re-racking your weights and putting them back where you got them, you're half-assing your workout. And now I'm kind of like, I agree with this gym owner. What else are you half-assing in life? Probably everything. Because if you're too lazy to put your weights back up, then there's probably a lot of shit when you leave the gym that you're being lazy on.
Are you
as
leaving
well.
the sink in the dish, or you washing it?
Yeah. Which
Like-
I can't comment on that, dude.
Well,
I probably have about
we'll
4 or
have-
5 dishes in the
No,
sink
but
right now,
well,
but-
hey, I told him I was going to keep this clean, but rack your damn weights.
Agreed.
Like, be respectful of the next person.
Mm-hmm. What if some 70-year-old or 60-year-old person, like, and I've got like 4 or 5 clients that are 60 or plus, is here by
Tom
themselves
yeah.
and wants to use the damn freaking leg press, but you
It's
left
loaded up
4
with 45s.
freaking 45-pound plates on both sides because you're a lazy POS and are inconsiderate of other people. Think about that old person now that has to take that off, or anybody in general. But shit, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's just lazy. It's laziness. So.
Yeah. Be respectful.
So revel and last. Yeah, absolutely.
What
And
shirt,
how many?
what
go
shirt
ahead.
you got on, Crazy Lady?
The I can.
Oh yeah, Kyle has one of those.
Yeah, I like that one. That's
Yeah.
a good. That's a good one. It's on there. So
Well, and I came up with the I can or we can because I hate I can't.
yeah,
Can't is not a word in my vocabulary unless we're talking about it like this. Like
Yeah.
when we're the kids, I can't. I'm like, yeah, you can. There's a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, I'd just be out in the garage. I'd be like, there's a whatever over there that weighs 300 pounds, and 12-year-old kid, one of our kids. Can you pick that up? No, I can't do that. Yeah, you can. I tell him, here, take this 2x4 over here and put it over here and put a thing underneath of it and stand on it. And I said, it'll pick that right up.
yeah,
I said, there's more than one way to do this. Like,
absolutely.
you got to use this.
Think.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's hey, yeah, you can. I can't do that. I don't have the time right now.
There's a way. You got to
Yeah,
figure it out.
And you can. How much are you streaming throughout the day? How much Netflix are you watching? How
Yeah.
much are you playing on your phone on Instagram? There's things that
Yep.
you can do to cut out to be a healthier person. And I'm not.
And
again,
we're all
I'm not
guilty. We're all
saying
guilty of
everybody.
that, some of that.
Absolutely. I find myself streaming, and after about 15 minutes, I'm like, dude, you just wasted 15 minutes of your life, dumbass. Stop.
Yep. It's easy to get caught up in.
There's better things, more educational things that I could be looking at than reels
Yep.
over and over and over for 15 or 20 minutes, which yes, I'm guilty of. But if you're finding excuses not to be healthier, and again, you don't have to take it to the extreme that, and I wouldn't even call it extreme. This is just, it's a part of our lives. But to the degree that Eric and I do, or many, many other people out there in this country and in this world do, but you can find 30 minutes. If you're looking in the mirror and you're tired of that person that you see and you know you can be different, but you find excuses not to go to the gym for 30 minutes a day or take a walk around the park or whatever that looks like just to be more active, dude, you've got time. You need to reevaluate your situation
Absolutely.
and make it a priority.
We're hunter-gatherers. We're not meant to sit behind a desk and
Absolutely
then
not.
go sit on the couch at
Yeah.
home in front of the TV. We're not meant to do that. Never were, never will be.
No, so, and I'm going to take it a little bit deeper, and not everybody may be spiritual watching this, religious, whatever you want to call it. But God, our Creator, if in the Bible, He made Adam and Eve to tend the Garden of Eden. Our bodies are machines. That's what we were designed to do, was
Yep.
to move and work, not be laying around, shoving crap down our pie holes all day long and not doing anything with it. So,
Technology is
agreed.
great, but you still need to move your body.
Absolutely. Yep. And there's always ways. So similar to Eric, kind of touched base on this at the beginning when I was talking about myself. So I worked construction for 8 years before buying the gym. And during that 8 years, when I was at a job site, before I started getting promoted in my career and moving up the corporate ladder, we worked 12, 14 hours a day. They don't build wind turbines in populated areas. So you were even driving 20 to 45 minutes to the job site every morning.
Right.
It's very easy to find an excuse to say, oh shit, dude, I'm tired, or I don't have time to do that. I never did that. Once I set my mind and I was like, okay, cool, this is what I'm gonna start doing to be better. The first day I because I knew that after work, I wasn't gonna do it. You know, after working a 14, 15-hour day, I knew I wasn't going to go to the gym. So I said, okay, I've got to be the guy that's going to get up and get it done in the morning before I go to work. So that way when I'm off, I can come home, eat my last meal, crash, and get up and do it again. So the first time my alarm went off at 2:30 in the morning, I was like, fuck. Excuse my language, sorry. But I was like, do I really want to do this? And I said, yes,
Yep.
I do. Get your ass up. Get to the fucking gym and start this process. And it took me about a month of doing that before waking up that early and falling asleep at 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night became my new routine.
New habit
My
and routine,
body
yeah.
had to shift. But if you don't start it and you don't force yourself to be uncomfortable, you're never gonna freaking fall into that habit that you need to. So for several years, woke up at 2:30 a.m. I was at the gym by 3, finishing my workout by about 4:30 or 5, showering at the gym, and
Going to
then
work.
getting in the truck and driving straight to the job site. I'd already have all my food prep with me, everything I needed to go. I always keep a gym bag with extra clothes, deodorant, and toothpaste, and a towel ready to go at any given time, so I don't have a freaking excuse to say that I can't do it.
Right.
So I made that a habit. So then people, you know, in construction, how do you do it, man? How do you do it? I get my ass up. I don't go have beers at the end of the day. I go home and go to sleep. I don't go party with the fellas.
My
it
routine
can be
is
done.
similar but the opposite in that I get up super early to go to work. I can get up in the morning growing up. I can get up and bale hay at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
4 a.m. whatever. Well, I always had to get up and milk cows at 4:30. Mm-hmm. That's 24/7, 365 days a year on a dairy farm. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like Christmas morning, you walk by the tree, you go to the barn at 4:30 and milk the cows. Like
Yeah.
it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You're sick, you get up and milk the cow. Like it didn't matter.
It had to be done.
So I always work out at the end of my day,
Yeah.
but before dinner.
Yeah.
But like, again, I get my work done, then I work out. Like, it's just my routine.
Yeah. No,
And
absolutely.
however it works for somebody, but you got to do it. It can't be.
Yes.
You know, some of those days out there, I work 14-hour day. Well,
Yeah.
what's the next on my agenda? I'm going to the gym.
Yep. Still has to get done.
You're still going to the gym? Yeah, I'll be angry if I don't.
Yeah, and there was a time period. I was in New Mexico on a long-term project, and that job. Oh my God, dude, that job site was a 55-mile drive from the closest populated area, and there were plenty of nights that because at that point, then my that was one of those jobs where I already developed the habit. It was who I was. You know,
Yep.
as far as working out, I'd been doing it for about 2 years at that point, 5-6 days a week. It's just at that point, this is what I do. And you work those long ass hours, plus you're throwing a 2-hour commute there and back on top of everything. So there were times I was like, all right, I'm not getting up this morning, but at the end of the day, if it was 9 o'clock at night, by the time I got back into town,
You felt guilty, so you did it.
I was going to the gym.
Yeah.
It had to be done, man. You just got to build that
I mean,
routine up.
it's funny you said, that's what I do now. I drive 45 miles to work,
Mm-hmm.
to get in the truck, to drive back by the house, because I usually go north.
Yeah.
But work is south of the house. And then when I get back, it's 45 miles home.
Yeah, and then, you know, we've touched base on nutrition and using excuses to not be able to find ways to eat healthy. But again, be at the job site. Man,
And
how do you do that? Sorry, go
you're
ahead.
better than I am. I'm not.
Dude.
I cheat, but I'm just like, well, I just got to work a little harder in the gym.
Yeah.
Like, but Kyle's training for a show. I'm not training for a show, so I can get away with cheating a little more.
Yeah, but you have these guys, your fellow construction workers at the project, like, man, how do you do this? Oh, I can't get up that early. We'll go after work. Oh, I can't do that because I got to go home. And you know, then you try to talk to them a little bit about food. Well, I can't eat healthy because we're out here at the job site. Dude, I don't have time for that. As I'm like eating my prepped meals that I cooked.
And they
on
ran to the gas
Sunday
station and got a hot dog.
on our day off.
Yeah.
To have ready to go for the week.
I have nothing against hot dogs.
No,
I like hot dogs.
I don't.
But every
I
day,
have nothing against anybody making the decisions and living their life the way that they want to.
right?
All I'm saying is, don't say there's not time or I can't do this because it's bullshit. You
Yep.
can. Even when I started to move up the corporate ladder, yes, I got to come home Friday evenings, stayed at home Saturday, Sunday. Mondays, I was either flying out or driving to a different job site all over the country.
Right.
Sunday was meal prep day. I took my fucking meals with me on the airplane, packaged out, and then I got to the point where instead of doing a hotel, I would do an Airbnb, so that way when I got into town, I could go to the grocery store, buy what I needed, and I had a kitchen to cook the food that I needed while I was at the job site for that week. But there's ways to do it.
There
If
is.
there's a will, there's a way. And saying that there's no time or I can't do that, you're just making excuses.
No, that's what we do. Every Thursday we
So-
sit down. We don't have a hardcore diet. Like we eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
But we sit down on Thursday. We look at the ad for the grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
This is on sale, that's on sale. We piece it together. We make our meal plan for the whole week.
Yeah.
Especially
It's-
dinner.
it's
Dinners more
smart,
than anything.
dude.
And oh well, we're gonna make that. We're gonna make extra of that because I'm gonna take it with me.
Yeah.
Like it's easy.
And again, it's you're right. It doesn't the diet portion doesn't have to be as hardcore as what I do. Like Eric said, like I'm training for a competition right now. And so right now, yeah, everything's dialed in. So that way I know what I'm putting in my body
Exactly.
every freaking day. For my clients, the meal plans that I talk to them about and develop it's not like that. They're really easy, but you still get, well, I couldn't do it that day or this or that. Well, you can.
You chose
in my
not to.
opinion, yes, you chose not to.
Yep.
And if you want it as bad as you say you do, then
Do it.
do it. Yeah, it's that. It really is that simple. It's fucking hard. But if you truly want to make a change, what you've been doing isn't working anyways.
Right.
So you have to change the whole thought process and the whole process of everything that you're doing. And once you lose the weight that you want to lose, if that's because I mean, dude, I'm in the fitness industry again. You know, not everybody comes in here and says I want to gain muscle. Because if you want to put the weight on, well, okay, I'm not putting you in a calorie deficit. You're going to be eating, and then you're going to be like, holy shit, this is too much food. But the majority of the people that I work with want to lose weight. They want to lose
Yeah.
weight.
That's usually
So we have to put them in a deficit, like we've already talked about. And if you want to lose it, what you've done up to that point in your life isn't working. And I try to tell people that the first 12 weeks, or getting the weight off that you want to, whether that's 10 pounds, 15, 20, whatever it is, that's the hard part. Make
Yep.
the short-term sacrifice to get your weight off. Because then after that, then you can maintain. And then when you're on your maintenance calories, you have more flexibility to go back to living a normal life.
And then if you get to that way and then you want to gain a little, if you're gaining muscle, there's an ego part of this. I'm not going to deny it. There's nothing like when we're out and about and it's summertime and I'm in a tank top or a shirt,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of fitted. And people are like, dude, what do you do?
Yeah,
I'm like, well, I lift heavy shit.
yeah.
A lot.
I lift things up and put it down.
You know, but I tell, you know, but it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then you have the people that ask you, well, how do I do that? I'm like, well, it's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you almost got to be a little bit sadist to do some of this.
You do.
I don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
I like it. But when I take somebody that has never done it, that's already your age, my age, and they're like, what do I got to do? And I'm like, it's not going to be fun for you for the first couple months.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful. But once you get through that, it's great.
I agree. It is fun. People, probably similar conversations, what you're talking about. It's, oh my God, this sucks. Like, but to me, coming and training hard in the gym and pushing myself every day, every week to be better than what I was last week is fun.
You know how I explain it to people? I worked with a guy who was a Marine. He was the manager of a discount tire store. I worked for them for a spell as an assistant manager. Matt LaHaye was the guy's name. Great guy, skinny dude, smoked cigarettes like crazy. And I'd give him shit about it. And one day he says to me, he said, Streeter, he said, here's the deal with me and the cigarettes. I started smoking these damn things in the core. I know I shouldn't. He's like, let me tell you what it does for me. I'm like, all right, Matt, I'm all ears, buddy. And it's all about the nicotine, right?
Yeah.
He said, listen, he said, if I have a great day, this makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a bad day, this helps me get through it. Well, that's the gym for me.
Yeah. I like that.
You have one of those days, you know, somebody at work that ticked you off, they change something, and you come in, you get it out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking it out on you. I'm not taking it out on her. I'm not taking it out on the kids. I'm taking it out on the iron.
Yeah.
If I had a good day, hey, it's just going to get better. Because it's that endorphin. No different than the nicotine. That's a horrible example. I'm not saying that's how you should do that.
That's pretty relatable.
But
dude.
his explanation of how it worked in his brain
Yeah.
is what the gym does for people like you and I.
Yeah.
and it would be a whole lot better for him than smoking a cigarette.
Absolutely. But I like the way you compared it, dude. That was
No,
good. That
well,
was really
that
good.
was my, well, you know, like and this was years ago, but, and I've gone through the stages in life with kids getting older and stuff, and I wish they wouldn't do this. You know what? They're going to do what they want to do. At the end of the day, I try to find the good in everything and let the rest of it go
Yeah.
as best I can. I'm not always good at that, but that's kind of in my wiser years. I know some of you are going to be like Streeter wiser. That's not possible. But I'm just like, you know what? Find the good in things. Like I couldn't, when he told me that about his cigarette, I'm like, it's kind of hard to argue with you on that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if that's what it does for you.
Yeah.
Like,
If that's your pleasure, cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. It was like I said.
I'm not
about-
going to try to argue with you
you
about
know,
all the bad things.
If you know, if the gym and eating healthy isn't for you, again, I said it earlier. That, you know, I'm not judging you. You do you. Do what makes you happy.
I'm
you
going
know,
to
so,
advocate move your body somehow. Even just go for a walk
Yeah.
on a daily basis. Or swim, or a bike ride, or any of that stuff.
Absolutely.
Move your body.
I like that. Yeah. Anything else, man? I think that's actually a good way to end this one. to be
Well,
totally
we've been
honest
rambling
with
for a
you.
while, yeah. Probably longer than we kind of knew this would happen. And that's why Kyle and or Megan are going to edit this, because there's nobody's going to watch all of this. But
If you are, you're super bored, and do what Eric said. Move.
yeah, move your body. I think that should be our focus. So
Cool. So, Rebel and Lass at the Iron Rack with Kyle Bailey. Hopefully next time my wife will be able to join us too, and maybe Erica can sit in also, and we can have an even bigger powwow from a woman's perspective as well.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good.
yeah,
But
and we'll take some notes, and we're going to get better at this. We're going to get a little more organized.
I hope so.
We will.
I'm just playing. I didn't think it was really that bad.
No, I don't
thought
think
it
it's
was
bad
good.
at all, but I think it'll just get better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Cool.
Eric.
Thank
That's
you.
Cool, man.